Ow! Ow! Right under the bloody fingernail. Really? Overrated pincushion came to life and stabbed me with my own pin. Oh, just wait till I get my hands on you, you rotten linen louse. Welcome back, boys and ghouls, to another episode of Damian's Dreadfuls, hosted by yours truly, Lord Damian MacDonovan. You'll have to excuse the little mess I was making a little earlier. I was trying to craft a new voodoo doll for my collection, but the project got away from me. It serves me right for trying to mix magics like that. I, of all people, should know better. You know, the voodoo doll isn't even really that much of a voodoo thing. That's right. Historically, it's more associated with the sympathetic magical practices of European paganism and folklore, particularly in Britain. Yet what we call a voodoo doll doesn't really have that much clout in the voodoo religion, either the Haitian or the Louisiana forms. What is prevalent and probably most associated with voodoo, however, is the subject of tonight's feature film. Yes, creeps, tonight we'll be videoing the very first feature film about zombies. And of course, being a 1930s Hollywood production, the film is so whitewashed that it's even actually in the title. Yes, 1932's White Zombie stars horror legend best known as Dracula, Bela Lugosi, as Murder Legendre, a sugarcane mill owner in Haiti who is using voodoo to enslave the local population to work on his plantation in the dead of night. There's more to the plot than that, of course, but and we'll get to that in a few moments. However, the film is dreadfully short, so to fill time before our feature presentation, I'll be giving you a little more Lugosi. To start the show, we'll be showing you the first episode of the 1939 serial The Phantom Creeps. Here, Lugosi plays Dr. Zorka, a mad scientist who creates powerful weapons and military devices for his own amusement. But in typical villain fashion, Zorka has a tragic backstory that leads him to want to conquer the globe. So, for tonight's presentation of Damien's Dreadfuls, I give you The Menacing Power, Chapter 1 of The Phantom Creeps.
Control board. Dr. Zucker, you're not going to let that thing out again, are you?
Certainly. There's work to be done on it.
Might get away like it did last time.
I created it. I can control it or destroy it as I can you. You whom I helped escape from prison. I control but quickly.
I'll see what good it is. The cops will never let anything like that walk down the street.
What could the police or anybody do against an army like them? Controlled, he could crush all opposition and make me the most powerful man in the world.
Hey, watch it! There's a car outside.
That will be my wife. She wants to take me away. She's afraid of what I'm doing here, yet she knows only a small part of it.
Let me go in and talk to him alone, Dr. Mallory. He's been angry with you ever since you refused to continue to work with him.
I did so only because he was working along lines contrary to the good of mankind.
I know. He still is. I hope I can stop him before it's too late.
I hate to have you face him alone.
Oh, I don't fear him. I think he really cares for me. As much as he can care for anyone.
Except himself.
You're not going to tell her about the new element you discovered, are you?
Only enough to prove that I have accomplished what they told me was impossible. Get me one of the magnetized discs.
But if you're determined to face him alone, I'll wait in there.
But won't your wife think that...
Silence! am, my dear?
You're glad to see me?
Very. I've been wanting a witness to my great triumph.
Oh.
Yes. I've told Mallory and the others there was a way to induce a state of suspended animation that couldn't be told from death, that I could find it. They called me a dreamer, a fool, but now I have it. And you shall see and tell them. Come. You see this disc? Watch. It will not come to you. It will go only to that disc which I have put there by the plan. That disc there is magnetized by a positive ray with my new element which is unknown to science. And this little spider carries the negative. When the two meet, you shall see. No, it's not dead. Nor would a person be under the same circumstances. It's too bad that Mallory is not here to see my triumph.
I have seen it.
You were spying.
Call it that if you wish, Alex. But you made no secret of it. Now my fear is, what are you going to do with it?
I shall do with it as I wish. Not hand it over to the government, as you would have me.
I still think that would be best. It should be under control for the good of mankind. You would still receive credit for its discovery.
They would destroy it if they could.
But possibly...
Never will I let it go. Already a foreign government had offered me millions. Perhaps I shall sell to them.
Don't you realize what a terrific weapon it would be in the hands of unscrupulous people?
Of course. That is why they shall pay me dearly for it.
Alex, you must not.
Then it is my duty to inform the government at once.
Alex, please.
All right. If it is your duty, do so by all means. But you will find it a great mistake.
What do you mean?
You shall soon learn. All of you.
Anne.
Monk! Get the devisualizer. Did you carry out my instructions regarding the work to be done on this?
Yes, sir. I strengthened the ionizer, but I was afraid to use it.
I'm not afraid. They think they know everything that I have. But they know nothing of this devisualizer that will conceal me from my enemies.
I'll stay here tonight. Perhaps I can see him again. And persuade him from his mad course.
And I'll get in touch with the government. I've already talked with Captain West of the War Department about Alex.
They won't punish him, will they?
No, Anne, they'll just keep him and what he has found under control so that he can't misuse it or dispose of it to a country that would.
You have failed, Monk. But I will not fail. I cannot.
I'll call if I need you.
Good night, Anne.
Good night.
It is perfect, but for a shadow.
But can you come back?
Surely, I must come back. And now, as the Phantom, there is nothing that I cannot do.
Nobody can find our secret workshop without the Iron Man helping.
Unless they find the secret entrance to the cave.
Oh, it is concealed so cleverly, nobody will ever find it. Must be entirely moved by morning. Pack what we need.
Yes.
They must never know about you, the source of all my power.
Alex.
Mallory speaking. Yes, Anne.
The place seems to be deserted.
I'll come right out there as soon as I get a call I'm waiting for. Yes, Captain West of the Army Intelligence. I'll start as soon as he phones me. All right. Don't worry.
Much depends on what happens in this house today. Going to wait and listen with this. It's a car. Probably Mallory.
Morning, Anne.
I'm so glad you got here.
Captain West arrived yet?
No, how could he?
He's flying down, so I wouldn't be surprised to find him here. That must be Bob West. It's a government plane.
They are closing in. And they will find nothing. I have to change my appearance.
Maybe you better stay here and keep an eye on the plane, Jim.
Okay.
Captain West, is it true that Dr. Zork has disappeared?
Well, do you think it's fair for you to know my name and I don't know yours?
I'm Jean Drew.
Well, what are you doing here?
The Times sent me. To look and listen and ask questions.
Sorry, but I'm not allowed to answer any questions.
Do you mind if I go up the house with you?
Yes, I mind very much.
You and I better take a little walk, sister.
I don't believe I've met you.
Miss Drew, allow me to present Mr. Jim Daly. You'll find him very good company. From what you say, Dr. Zorka has discovered something very important.
I'm sure he has. Highly dangerous, too. Think what a hostile power could do with it.
Have you made any search for it?
No, we thought we'd better wait till you got here.
Well, let's look in his laboratory.
Aren't you going to take that disc?
I'll get it later. I'd hate to have one of those spiders find it in my pocket.
Fools! Fools! Let them search. They will find nothing.
A lot of equipment seems to have been moved.
You can talk to Rankin of Aspiring. I will be with you, but unseen.
Husband smokes a popular brand.
But he doesn't. He can't stand tobacco.
Well, how about his assistant?
He had none.
She's right. So far as we know, Zorka worked alone.
The defibrillator. Then we will go. We must be more careful than ever that no one discovers the entrance of our secret garage. Let's go.
Well, I'll phone headquarters and have his description broadcast. He'll be picked up somewhere, that is, if he still answers his own description.
All clear?
Yes, sir.
Then we will go to meet the agent of the spying.
When last seen, he wore striped trousers, dark four-in-hand tie, and cutaway coat. No car that we know of, but it would take one to carry the things that are missing from this laboratory. Yes, that's right. Put this on the teletype right away, will you?
Pick up that man.
What do you mean? Give him a ride?
Yes. He looks as I used to. He might be useful to me. Come, get in. That man is dead. How fortunate. That simplifies everything. We will make it seem that it is the famous Dr. Zorka who has been killed. Then we will get another car, go home, and see what they are doing there.
West speaking. Right, I've got it. We'll fly right down there. There's been a car found, wrecked and burned on Highway 10, 50 miles north of here. There's a body in it. The contents of the pockets indicate it was Dr. Zorka. Identification is important. You go with us?
You're asking too much, Captain West, after such a shock.
I'll go. I must know. It was Alex.
Warm up the plane, will you, Jim? Whenever you're ready, Mrs. Zorka.
They are taking my wife to identify the body we left at the car. She will know it is not mine.
Can't you stop them by...
She is one of my discs, and she does not know it. I have just time enough to put that spider into her plane. She will go into suspended animation so that she cannot identify the dead man. Then I will take her from them and revive her. Now get the car ready, quick. We have to be there as soon as the plane arrives.
Shouldn't take long.
I'll check the lab equipment and try to figure out just what's missing. Bye.
Goodbye. is there something the matter with that door? I'm sure I shut it.
Doesn't look to me as if you're dead.
This wasn't in my bag when I left the house.
That's the same kind of disc that was found under the plant.
The one the spider went to.
Are you certain it wasn't in your bag before?
Positive.
Hey, let me see it, will you? I haven't seen one of those things yet.
Hold on a minute, will you, Jim? I want to send it back to the department. Are you sure you didn't find it and take it as sort of a keepsake?
Why, of course I didn't.
Tell me, from where the car was found, have you any idea where Dr. Zorka was going?
None whatever.
Jim, what's happened? The tools are out of order. We have to bail out. What are you doing here? Never mind, bail out. You get into this chute?
Yes, sir.
You know, when I first heard the title, Phantom Creeps, it actually left me a bit confused. Like, is it a guy called the Phantom who is creeping around, or is it a bunch of creeps who are also phantoms? Or by creeps, does it mean the feeling that someone gives you if they creep you out and it's caused by a ghost? But I figured it out quickly. Zorka is the Phantom, and he is creeping around. And don't worry, we'll see more of this serial later on down the line. At least if I get shorter movies later on. Well, despite the initially confounding title, The Phantom Creeps actually has had a big influence on pop culture. For example, Robert Bartlett Cummings would take inspiration from the designs of the set and the giant robot and use them as part of the iconography for his own band and future solo act. The band would take its name from tonight's feature film, however. I am, of course, speaking of Rob Zombie, founding member of White Zombie, the band. Mr. Cummings legally had his name changed to his stage persona in 1996. Another pop culture influence can be seen in later episodes of The Phantom Creeps, although not in the first one that we've just played. Every episode after this begins with a text scroll, which was the primary inspiration for the same style of exposition dump at the beginning of all of the official Star Wars films. And while Lugosi never made it into the Star Wars universe, we at least got last week's special guest Christopher Lee, Hammer's Dracula, as Count Dooku. Well, moving on to tonight's big number. When it hit theaters, 1932's White Zombie was not the instant classic that we think of it as today. It was panned mostly for its ridiculous plot and over-the-top acting. So of course, I love it. With the Halperin brothers at the helm, Edward producing and Victor directing, the film also stars John Herron as banker Neil Parker, Madge Bellamy as his fiancée, Madeline Short, who becomes the titular White Zombie, Robert Fraser as plantation owner Charles Beaumont, and Joseph Cawthorn as island missionary Dr. Bruner. Here, on Damien's Dreadfuls, is 1932's White Zombie. Now, where did that blasted doll get to?
Looks like a burial.
In the road? Driver, what is it?
It's a funeral, mademoiselle. They're afraid of the men who steal dead bodies. So they dig the grave in the middle of the road, where people pass all of the time.
Well, that's a cheerful introduction for you to our West Indies.
Do you know where is the house of Monsieur Beaumont? Zombie! Allez vite! Allez!
It's got like hands clutching me.
Why did you drive like that, you fool? We might have been killed.
Worse than that, monsieur. We might have been caught.
Caught? By whom? Those men you spoke to?
They are not men, monsieur. They are dead bodies.
Dead?
Yes, monsieur. Zombies. The living dead. Corpses taken from their graves. Or made to work in sugar mills and fields at night. Look! Here they come!
Look. Look.
Excuse me, please. Have you got a match? Did I frighten you?
I'm sorry. I'm ugly enough, I suppose.
No, it wasn't you. Something happened back on the road there. We stopped to speak to some men. Our driver told us they weren't men at all. He said they were corpses. Corpses? Surely you don't believe it, do you?
No. Well, I don't know. Haiti is full of nonsense and superstition. They're always mixed up with a lot of mysteries that'll turn your hair gray. I've been a missionary here for, 30 years, and at times, I don't know what to think. Come, let's go in the house.
Oh, yes.
Huh?
Come, dear.
Is Mr. Beaumont in?
You're expected, Dr. Bruner.
Yes, I've been sent for to marry someone. Maybe. Oh, yes. Excuse me. How long is it that you know Mr. Beaumont?
Oh, only a few days. Madeline introduced him on the docks in Port-au-Prince.
And you?
I met him on the ship coming from New York. He was very kind during the voyage.
So Madeline and I planned to be married the moment she arrived, but Mr. Beaumont persuaded us to come here. And he promised to take me out of the bank at Port-au-Prince and send me to New York as his agent.
Strange. It's very strange.
I'll tell Mr. Beaumont you're here.
Yeah.
It's all right, isn't it, Doctor?
Oh, I guess so. You see, I've only met Mr. Beaumont once or twice, but he never struck me like a man that would take the trouble to play fairy godfather to a young couple like you. Unless...
Unless what, sir?
I suppose you'll think I'm a meddling old fool, but... You know, I'd feel a good deal better if you'd clear out of this place after you're married and have nothing more to do with Mr. Beaumont.
The young people have arrived, sir, and Dr. Bruner. They're waiting in the reception hall.
Show them to their room and tell them I'm out.
Yes.
No, wait. Perhaps I'd better see them. It might look odd if I didn't.
Very odd, sir. Especially as Dr. Bruner is a trifle skeptical as to your motives, sir.
Never mind my motives. Has that other person sent word yet?
No, sir, not yet.
He's 24 hours late.
I wish you'd keep away from that man, sir. He'll make trouble for you.
You needn't worry about that. I'm not afraid of him.
I'm not easily frightened, sir. You should know that. But what you're planning is dangerous.
Don't you suppose I know that, Silver? You don't seem to realize what this girl means to me. Why, I'd sacrifice anything I have in the world for her. And nothing matters if I can't have her.
I think you'd like Haiti. Most people that...
Oh, Madeline, I'm delighted to see you. Neil, you're more than welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Doctor, it was very kind of you to visit the man you are.
No, not at all. There's a native family live out here that I've been trying to see for a long time. After this young couple are safely married, I leave.
But surely you'll stay for dinner after the ceremony.
Oh, no, I must run along.
Well, that's a great pity. We had something very special prepared for this occasion. It was very good of you, Madeline, to humor the whim of a lonely man. There was so little time to prepare. I couldn't do half the things I wanted to do for you.
You've done more than enough already, Mr. Beaumont, for a comparative stranger. You've made us so happy, giving Neil a position in the state.
Neil?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm sure Neil will make a very good agent. But you must be tired after your drive. You'll get some rest. Silver! Silver will show you to your rooms.
This way, please.
Delighted to see you again, Monsieur Beaumont. Please. I'm sorry that kept you waiting, monsieur. I have been on a journey, seeking men for my mill. Men? They work faithfully, and they are not worried about long hours. You could make good use of men like mine on your plantation.
No. That's not what I want.
Then perhaps you wish to talk about the young lady who came to your house this evening.
You've seen her? When?
On the road tonight. There was a young man with her.
They're to be married tonight. You've waited too long to do anything.
What do you want me to do?
If she were to disappear for a month,
What do you hope to gain by her disappearance?
everything.
Everything. Do you think she will forget her lover in a month?
Just give me a month. One little month.
Not in a month. Nor even a year, monsieur. I have looked into her eyes. She is deep in love. But not with you.
They're to be married within an hour. There must be a way.
There is a way. The cost is heavy.
You give me what I want, and you may ask anything. No. Not that.
Only a pinpoint, Monsieur Beaumont, in a glass of wine, or perhaps a flower. Take it. The time is very brief. You must do your share if I am to help you. Keep it, monsieur. Keep it. You may change your mind. Send me word when you use it.
I'll find another way.
There is no other way.
Mademoiselle.
More than anything else in this whole world, dear. Heaven or hell lies in this little moment for me. You can raise me up to paradise, or you can blast my world into nothingness. There's time even yet, dear. I can make you the envy of every woman. I'll give my life to make you happy. Oh, listen to me, dear, before it's too late.
Don't. Please.
Don't go into that room. We can be in Port-au-Prince in half an hour. There's a boat sailing at midnight.
You've been so wonderful. Don't spoil everything now.
One last gift before I lose you forever.
We are gathered together here in the sight of God and in the face of this company to join together this man, this woman in holy matrimony. Stay.
Ah, there you are, my little phantom creeps. How are you enjoying the film so far? I know, it's a bit slow, isn't it? But what did you expect? A full-blown zombie apocalypse? As you no doubt have guessed, these aren't that kind of zombie. You see, the origins of the modern zombie are actually very complicated. The original form of zombie, seen in tonight's film, is just a dead person brought back to life and under the control of an evil voodoo priest. In this case, Bela Lugosi, a white guy from Romania. Talk about cultural appropriation. Anyway, modern medicine suggests that these people aren't really dead, but actually have been poisoned into a death-like state, and then awakened into a mindless stupor by other drugs. White Zombie is based on the novel The Magic Island, published only 3 years before this film's release, and written by William Seabrook. Seabrook, who basically introduced the zombie into mainstream Western society through the book, was a noted occultist who wrote extensively on the more macabre facets of cultures around the world. He even pawed around a little while with the great Aleister Crowley for a bit, and supposedly engaged in cannibalism during the writing venture into Africa. Not that I have any right to pass judgment on him for that. A fiend's gotta eat, after all. Or in my case, drink. But think about that. The concept of the zombie is actually pretty new in comparison to most other creatures of horror. It's only been in the cultural lexicon for less than 100 years. Oz's Wicked Witch of the West is older than that. Anyway, I'll let you finish up the movie. I still have to find this stuffed saboteur.
toast to the bride, to beauty's queen.
Gladly, my lord. Leave but a kiss within the glass. Fair gypsy, read my fortune. What do you see in the glass?
I see happiness. I see love. Far more than you deserve.
Is that all?
No, I see.
What is it?
I see death.
Madeline. Madeline, what's wrong? Madeline, my dear, please.
Oh, no.
Madeline! Madeline! Can't we do something? She's... Madeline! My wife.
Of his angels be with us evermore. Amen.
Zombies? Yes. They are my servants. Did you think we could do it alone? In their lifetime, they were my enemies. Leto, the witch doctor. Once my master. Secrets I tortured out of him. Vangelder, the swine, swollen with riches. He fought against my spells until the last. Him yet I have trouble hiding. His Excellency Richard, once Minister of the Interior. Garcia, Brigand Chief. Marquis, Captain of Gendarmerie. And this is Chauvin, the High Executioner, who almost executed me. I took them, just as we will take this one. But what if they regain their souls? They would tear me to pieces. And that, my friend, shall never be.
Madeline.
Madeline!
There's two explanations that strike me. Either the body was stolen by members of a death cult that use human bones in their ceremonies, or else...
Or else what?
She's not dead.
Not dead? Are you mad? I saw her die. The doctor signed a certificate. I saw them bury her.
Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm not mad. But I've lived in these islands for a good many years. And I've seen things with my eyes that made me think I was crazy. There's superstitions in Haiti that the natives brought here from Africa. Some of them can be traced back as far as ancient Egypt. And beyond that yet, in the countries that was old when Egypt was young.
Yes, but what has that to do with Madeline? I kissed her as she lay there in the coffin. And her lips were cold.
Let me explain. Now, just a minute. I'll explain. Wherever there is a superstition, you will find there is also a practice. Now, do you remember what your driver told you the night he took you to Beaumont's house?
Oh, about those horrible creatures we saw.
Yeah.
He said they were corpses, taken from their grave.
That's it. Now, wait. Now, that's the superstition. Now for the practice. The ghouls that steal the dead corpses from the graves are supposed to put them there in the first place.
Do you mean that Madeline was murdered so that somebody could steal her dead body? Ah, nonsense.
No. Not her body, yes, but not her dead body. That's what I mean.
Well, surely you don't think she's alive in the hands of natives? Oh, no, better dead than that.
Excuse me, please. Have you got a match? Thank you.
You don't believe that, do you?
Say, there's been lots of people that's been pronounced dead that came alive again and lived for years. Now, if nature can play pranks like that, why isn't it possible to play pranks with nature?
Oh, I don't know.
Your driver believed he saw dead men walking. He didn't. What he saw was men alive in everything but this and this.
Oh, the whole thing has me confused. I just can't understand it.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I've been trying for years to get to the bottom of this thing. To separate what you call fact from fiction. The law of Haiti acknowledges the possibility of being buried alive. Here it is in the penal code. I'll read it for you. It's in French. Do you speak French?
No.
Excuse me, please. Have you got a match?
Right here. Here's one.
Oh, thanks. I didn't see it. I'll translate it for you, if you should fail. Article 149. The use of drugs or other practices which produce lethargic coma or lifeless sleep shall be considered attempted murder.
Yes.
Attempted.
Yes, I see.
Yeah, all right, all right. If the person has been buried alive, the act shall be considered murder, no matter what result follows.
Beaumont. Say, you said that you couldn't understand why he was so interested in us. Do you think he did this?
No. No, I think it's native work. Native work, exactly. Of course, if you want to, we can go to Beaumont's house first. If I can get my hands on the devil that's responsible for this, I'll make him such an example that every witch doctor in Haiti will be shaken in his sandals.
But we can't do this alone. Can't the authorities help?
Authorities? Neil, my boy, you don't know these islands. The native authorities are afraid to meddle. I'm not. I got friends among the natives. They'll tell me things that no gendarme could ever get out of. Because I'm a preacher, they think I'm a magician. Before we get through with this thing, we may uncover sins that even the devil would be ashamed of. Oh, these witch doctors.
Foolish things. They can't bring back the light to those eyes. I was mad to do this. But if you'd have smiled on me, I'd have done anything for you, given you anything. I thought that beauty alone would satisfy. But the soul is gone. I can't bear those empty, staring eyes. Oh, forgive me, Madeline, forgive me. I can't bear it any longer. I must take you back.
Back to the grave, monsieur?
No. You must put the light back into her eyes and bring laughter to her lips. She must be gay and happy again.
You paint a charming picture, monsieur. One that I should like to see myself.
You must bring her back.
Aren't you a trifle afraid, monsieur? How do you suppose those eyes will regard you when the brain is able to understand?
Better to see hatred in them than that dreadful emptiness.
Perhaps you're right. It would be a pity to destroy such a lovely flower. Let's drink to the future of this flower. A glass of wine?
Silver, bring wine. We have a toast to drink.
To the future, monsieur. Only a pinpoint, monsieur. In a flower. Or perhaps a glass of wine?
What are you trying to do to me?
I have other plans for mademoiselle. And I'm afraid you might not agree. I have taken a fancy to you, monsieur.
Silver! Silver!
the future, monsieur.
Hello again, Crypt Kickers. Sorry about the mess. Seems like every time I go looking for something, this place looks like a tornado went through it. I'm actually looking for some old props or any instruments I can put together to catch and take out the bloody doll I made earlier. It never hurts to reuse old accoutrements. Like the directors did for tonight's feature film. You'll notice this a lot with a lot of old, low-budget rush jobs. Roger Corman is particularly famous for this. Tonight's film was filmed in only 11 days, and primarily on previously existing sets from earlier movies. If you're a fan of old horror like I am, you'll probably notice some redressing of some very famous backdrops. We've got some Frankenstein, some Hunchback of Notre Dame, even a little bit of The Cat and the Canary in there. And I'm sure Bela Lugosi felt right back at home on a few of the former Dracula sets. Even the music was practically stock. While it was all new recordings, music supervisor Abe Meyer used classic scores such as Reisenfeld's Death of the Great Chief, Borch's Incidental Symphonies, and others from Franz Liszt, Richard Wagner, and H. Maurice Jacquet. In fact, the only real new music in the film is the chant at the beginning of the movie. It was created by Guy Bevier Williams, Universal Studios' own specialist in ethnic music. I wonder if a reused chant would help me rat out this little doll. Well, you finish up the film, and I'll get back to you all later.
They ought to be picking up an old witch doctor around here pretty soon. His name is Pierre. I've known him for years. He's a great old fella. I don't know just where we'll find him.
Son, there are evil spirits in the road. I will give you an awanga. And here is one for the young man, he's sick with fever.
Here, say, wait a minute. We can't afford to have you sick. Neil, why don't you go over there? We got a hard day before us tomorrow. Now then, Pierre, come on. He's gone. You can talk.
It is a dangerous thing you ask me to do.
Oh, well, now, listen here, you know. We're old friends, you and me, and I want to go on.
Turn back before it is too late.
Oh, no. I've come too far to turn back now.
I'm too old to go all the way with you.
Well, listen. Can't you get somebody to go with us?
My people are afraid of the mountain.
Why?
Because it is called the land of the living dead.
Well, have you ever been there?
I am the only man that ever came from there alive. There is an evil spirit man that is called Murder. Come, I will tell you all about what it is.
Vultures.
Just as old Pierre said, a cloud of vultures always hovers over the house of the living dead.
Madeline. Is she there?
No.
Oh, I must go and see.
No. Kneel, my boy. Please, lie down and rest. Please. You'll feel stronger in the morning. You rest. Let me go up and see what I can do.
Why is she so restless tonight? Perhaps she remembers something. They never remember anything when they are like that. No, because he's cut off.
Madeline.
No, I can't. You must. It's your turn. Let's run away. Steve might hear you. So I can't stand it. I'm going to run away. He'll find you and make you like her.
Can you still hear me? It is unfortunate you are no longer able to speak. I should be interested to hear you describe your symptoms. You see, you are the first man to know what is happening. None of the others did. You refused to shake hands once. I remember. Well, well. We understand each other better now.
You're alive. Alive. What's the matter? It's I, Neil. Oh, my darling. What have they done to you? Who are you? And what are they? For you, my friend, they are the angels of death. Don't you know me, dear? It's Neil.
I could swear. For a moment, she recognized you.
Come on, don't let him get away. Madeline, my darling.
I dreamed.
Excuse me, please. Have you got a match?
Welcome back, boys and ghouls. Did you enjoy the film? I hope so. I'm sorry I haven't had the chance to really watch it much myself. I'm still trying to hunt down this damned voodoo doll. There you go again. It's not a voodoo doll. They don't really use them that much in voodoo. They're not even prevalent in hoodoo. Oh, wait. There's an idea. That reminds me of the Babe. I said, you remind me of the babe.
What babe?
The babe with the power.
What power?
The power of voodoo.
Hoodoo?
You do.
Do I?
Ah, gotcha. Oh, no you don't. Oh, that's better. No voodoo doll can resist the old babe with a power bit. Now, let's just see what I did wrong here. You know, they say voodoo dolls eventually start to look like the people that they're supposed to be of. And that might just be the problem. I don't remember sewing this tag on here. Property of Vladimir Putin. Oh, of course. No wonder it backfired. I tried to make a puppet of someone who's already a puppet. Oh, now to figure out what to do with this thing before I get a sequel like this movie did. Oh yeah, despite being universally panned, A White Zombie had a 1936 sequel titled Revolt of the Zombies. The role of the villain was again offered to Lugosi, but eventually it was given to Dean Jagger.
Hey, Dean Yeager!
No, Jagger. It's a good thing, too. The sequel was even more harshly criticized than the original. Apparently, Tobe Hooper was in talks to remake this film in 2009, but it got shelved due to questions over the rights, which is odd, considering that it's in public domain. Anyway, that's all for me tonight, boys and ghouls. As always, this has been Damien's Dreadfuls, and I have been your ever-so-charming host, Lord Damian MacDonovan. Have a ghastly evening. I'm going to take care of our friend here with a little dance magic. I saw my baby crying hard as